Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV here with NFL legend.
Yeah,
Ryan
right.
Clark, what's going on, man? What's happening?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to kind of enjoy different sports, man. I've never been to a press conference for boxing, especially for a championship fight. And so it was exciting to watch two dudes staying face to face who are going to try to take each other's head off on Saturday.
Hell of a vibe, man. Two guys, like you said, that genuinely don't like each other. They control their emotions.
Yeah.
You know something about controlling your emotions, having big games like against the Ravens and other teams like that. What goes into that as a pro athlete?
I mean, just understanding the moment, you know, and I think they controlled their emotions in the face-off because, you know, that's part of the rules. But I think the difference in the way they've controlled their emotions in speaking, you wonder if that's going to show up, you know, in the ring. Like, I know it was like facing the Ravens and understanding what was coming on Saturday and not having that adrenaline dump in the first quarter because you knew the fourth quarter was going to be brutal, was going to be violent. So when you hear Rolly say things like first round knockout, so that you come out in the first round, really shoot everything you have, show everything you have. Tank uses some of that experience, some of that veteran ringsmanship, and now what happens in the third, the fourth, the fifth. And so you have to control how your emotions affect the way you approach your sport, and that's what's going to be exciting about this weekend.
Don't know your boxing acumen. It sounds like you know the game. Sounds like you know a lot about sports. I watch you on ESPN myself. My question to you, though, is Rolly Romero, I talked to him earlier. He seems like a ball of rage at times.
Yeah.
Could that be something that works against him versus Tank Davis?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen that in boxing. You've seen that in MMA, right? You have to understand that these sports are about controlled rage. It's about understanding how to harness that, understanding how to use that explosion when it needs to be used. And, you know, maybe Rolly's building up the fight. You know, maybe he's trying to get us to be expecting that so we tune in and we watch him be patient in the first, patient in the second, feel Tank out, let Tank feel like he's leading and then attack. Or maybe he's just dead serious and he has no fear, believes in his punching power, 12 knockouts in 14 fights, and he thinks that's what it is. And so when, you know, I used this analogy earlier. There was that commercial back in the day, and you probably about my age, where you had the big dog and the little dog walking down the street, and the big dog was just walking, and the little dog was like bouncing around and like, hee, right, all excited. That's what the press conference felt like. You kept hearing Tank say, "It's time, right? It's time. F the talk, bump the talk. It's time." And then Rolly still screaming and cussing, right? Some of that plays a part in these fights. That I've been there, I've done that, I know what it feels like. And so we're going to see which one of these men can harness some of that emotion, like you said, some of that rage, and really show who they are in the ring.
To take a little page out of Snoop Dogg's book, kind of a use a flea, and I'm the big dog energy coming from Tank Davis today. At times he was comical during the exchanges with Rolly Romero. He seems real relaxed. But when I asked him, I said, "Tank, do you feel like you are here to punish Rolly?" He looked me in the eye with a sinister look, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I am."
Yeah, like that's their job, though. You know, and that's what I love about this sport. You know, like what they do is legal, man. You know, to come out and physically impose your will on another man when no one else can help. Like that's the difference between my sport and their sport. There is no help. That stuff your coach is screaming, your fans in the crowd, none of those things can actually help you execute the game plan that you've worked on throughout training camp. And Tank's job every week, every opportunity to fight is to punish his opponent, right? We've seen that 24 out of 26 times. And even in the times where it hasn't ended in the finish, you've seen the punishment that he's been able to deal out, but we've also watched him go the distance. And so that's what I want to see this weekend is whose fight is set up to not only take the big shots, but go the distance if they have to.
Now, let's break it down. What are your paths to victory for Rolly? Do you see any chance in Rolly winning? And if he did, how would he have to win?
Yeah, Rolly can win, but it can't be a decision, right? Rolly has to find a way to allow Tank to be comfortable enough to open up an opportunity to land big shots. And you hear Tank say, no, he's not really unorthodox. He's more just hasn't learned kind of some of the nuances of boxing. That can help as well, because when you don't know some of the nuances and you're fighting a guy who does know a ton of them, you can do some things that are unexpected because they may not necessarily be technically sound. So he can try to use some of those things, that punches from different positions, punches when fighters or Tank isn't necessarily used to seeing them come at him, and hopefully land something big and continue an onslaught. I don't think he wins if it goes to decision. I think Tank can win by both decision and knockout, but this fight is going to be a knockout. This ain't going to the cards. We're not going to see the judges. This is going to be, mano a mano, who lands the bigger shots, and when landing them, who can take them and fire back. And if you can't do that, you can't win this fight.
Definitely, man. Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV, here with the legendary NFL player Ryan Clark. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.